issue of what operator we should use. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. The final challenge here is to end up with our two ions carrying momentum. And that is pretty difficult. We are dealing with two ions which are both pi plus, pi minus, and pi 0, pi 0. We have the I equals 0, the I equals 2 state. We certainly can't use boundary conditions that mix the two. We want to be able to identify unambiguously the I equals 0 final state. So what we do, because we were fairly successful before using boundary conditions to raise the momentum of the lowest energy 2 ion state, is we impose G-parity boundary conditions. So this is a combination of charge conjugation and then 180-degree rotation around the y-axis that one uses the usual common short phase conventions for SU2 that makes this strange transformation on the U and V quark multiplet. This is of course, a symmetry of QCD, and it also commutes with isospin. So we impose these boundary conditions on our lattice, which is really quite strange. You know, if you have a U quark that goes through this boundary, it comes back on the other side as an anti-D quark. So it's certainly unusual, but manageable, but it is a lot of work. There are a lot of strange features. For example, if you think of a pion as a combination of a UV bar, if this wave function gets close to the boundary, there will actually be two D bars. Well, the computer's capable of managing all of this. The calculation becomes a lot harder because, of course, normally you would never contract a U and a U quark, but with the boundary conditions like this, you certainly can. So the number of contractions balloons from roughly 50 to something like 370. So there are a lot of terms that have to be computed. Fortunately, the graduate student, Chan Zhang, is a very talented man, and this wasn't a problem for him. Finite volume effects of the boundary conditions are pretty, seem to be relatively innocuous. We can do lots of calculations that we did with normal boundary conditions and get answers that agree within the few percent that you'd expect from finite volume effects. One thing that's a little bit odd is in order to have a kaon that's at rest, we have to have a strange quark that is also an isobelate. So we introduce a second strange quark, we call it S prime, and so we have an isodoublet of strange quarks. That means when we calculate the fermion determinant, we would have 4 phases instead of 2, so we join our rooted staggered colleagues and take the square root of this odd determinant. Microwave stable permission. Obviously, we're taking the square root of something which is not exactly a square, but if we could ignore the effects of the boundary, it would be. So we believe our errors are exponential in the pion path. There are lots of interesting features of the G-parity business. If you think of a couple of flavors of up and down quarks and ask what momentum are allowed, you'd have this normal pattern in momentum space. I guess you'd call this a reciprocal lattice. These little dots are supposed to represent the allowed momentum that are 2 pi over L in the x and the y direction. If we impose G-parity boundary conditions, the individual quarks end up carrying momentum that are pi over 2L, and so each of these allowed momentum before splits into 2. So you can see the 2 flavors now. You couldn't see them here. Each of these dots represented an up quark and a down quark. But now the up quarks and down quarks are combined, and the states with which are momentum eigenstates are mixtures of the 2, and the allowed momentum are these. The thing which is surprising is, well, maybe if you think about it a little bit, it's not so surprising, but surprise us is if you impose G-parity boundary conditions in 2 directions, then you're not going to double the number of points because we only have an up and a down form. So, in fact, what you get is a pattern like this, and this clearly is convention dependent. This is choosing a diagonal that goes in a particular direction, and if we chose a different set of, made a different arbitrary choice for one of the two boundaries, we can make the pattern go the other way. So, G-parity boundary conditions like this, of course, obviously break rotational symmetry because we've got a special axis in which we impose them. But if we impose G-parity boundary conditions in two directions, you might think like periodic or anti-periodic boundary conditions, we would have cubic symmetry. And if you thought that, you'd be wrong. We break cubic symmetry even in a symmetrical situation. So this is a little bit of the trouble because we do need to use cubic symmetry a little later on when we're trying to normalize our operators. So that's the sort of background of all the techniques that we're going to use, and I'd like to spend the rest of the time discussing the calculation. I thought, well, the overview is pretty straightforward. This is a mirror of the calculation we did on 32 cubed by 64 for I equals 2. Now we're looking at the I equals 0 final state. So we have a 4.5 Fermi box, a 1.3, I guess it's around 0.14 Fermi lattice spacing, A versus 1.4 GeV. In order to get the correct pi energy, we have to impose G-parity in all three directions. We have the UZ isodoublet, and then this SS prime isodoublet with the rooted determinant. We have to generate special configurations, because the G-parity boundary conditions require that the gauge fields satisfy charge conjugation boundary conditions, so we need to have special configurations that satisfy charge conjugation boundary conditions. We also need special code to generate these special configurations, which is one of the heroic things that Chris Kelly did. We have 216 configurations that we've analyzed. These are separated by 4 time units, but all of our problem is this vacuum noise, which is highly decorrelated. So if we get our data, we certainly don't see any difficulty with this 4 time unit separation. And some of us think we should